guys, welcome to Swan Yang Nerd, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this awesome Lon-Lon milk candle from The Legend of Zelda. This video is completely inspired by an old video from Game Guy DIY. He made his candles in a different way, so if you don't like the way that I made it, or maybe you're confused about something, either comment below or go ahead and check out his video. Some things you'll need are a candle. This one's got a nice lid on it. I just got it from Family Dollar and it's like vanilla cupcake scented or something. It's so good. So you're gonna make sure that you can take the lid off. Next you're gonna need some Mod Podge. You'll need it in the matte finish. Make sure it's matte and not gloss. You'll also need a paintbrush and a plate in case of any accidents. Next, you're going to need this template. I have it in the description below and also on my blog if you're there. You're going to need to print out two and also bring along a pair of scissors. You're also going to need for touch-ups these oil-based Sharpie pens. I got the blue and the white here. And then for touch-ups as well, you're going to need nail polish remover and some cotton swabs. I'm starting off here with the first template. As you can see, I've taped the ends together. And I'm just going to be wrapping this around the candles so I know where I want the final one to lay whenever it's completed before I actually glue it on, because once you start gluing, it's really hard to move it around. And you'll see that I kind of messed it up a little bit in some spots by trying to move it later on in the video. Once you have everything in the right place, you're going to go ahead and take off your label. This is just a template to see where you want your final stuff when it's ready to be put on. Now you're going to want to go ahead and cut out your label. As you can see here, there's two things here to cut out. So my candle was 12 inches in circumference. And that means that a single label wouldn't fit around the whole candle, because when I print it out onto printer paper, the printer paper is 8.5 by 11. So I had to print it out twice, so the front part of the label is on my candle twice actually, which I think in the end looked really cool. But if you don't like it, then maybe find a smaller candle or print it out on a different sheet of paper. Now you're going to want to go ahead and open your Mod Podge, and you're going to lightly brush on a little base coat. That way when you stick your paper onto the candle, it's going to be able to actually stick to it. So go ahead and brush on the spot where you want your label to be. I chose somewhere right in the middle so that it looked pretty even from the top and bottom. So go ahead and brush that on lightly, and then you're going to take one of your labels and you're just gonna stick it on there and try to make sure that both of the ends are even. That way when you stick your other one on, it's not gonna be crooked. I made this mistake and you're gonna see that's why I came out with a couple wrinkles in the ends, but that's what we have our paint pens and nail polish remover for. So don't worry if you actually do screw this up. Make sure you get underneath the edges in your other label, and then you're going to stick the other label right on top of it. Go ahead and make sure to try your best to line it up. I know I didn't line it up very well, but try to be a little bit better than I am, I guess. Once you put it on though, it is very hard to move. As you can see, there's a couple spots where it doesn't exactly rip, but it's kind of so soggy in that area that it kind of gets a little bit messed up. If this happens to you, you're gonna know what I mean. So then once you actually get it where you want, just take a little bit more of Mod Podge and lie it right on top of the edges. You're gonna see here as I'm covering this up that there are some air bubbles in here. That's gonna be natural to whatever you do. So you're just gonna take your Mod Podge and you're gonna cover everything with the Mod Podge. I tried to fix it by moving my edges, but make sure that you do not do that because you're gonna rip your paper just kind of like I did, and then it's gonna be a disaster and you're gonna have to cover more stuff at the paint pens, and then it's not gonna look as good as it would have been. So make sure you just cover everything up with your matte Mod Podge. It's going to give that nice finish, and it won't rip later on. As you start to finish up your Mod Podging process, make sure that your brush strokes are going the same way. I made them going horizontal across the edges and then going down vertical over top of the label. This will give it a nicer finish whenever it's done. The streaks won't show up too much, but if you catch it in the right lighting, then it does show a little bit. So just for that extra little finesse look, you're gonna wanna do that. Once you are finished with your Mod Podging, make sure to sit it out somewhere to dry and do not touch it. The Mod Podge is sticky, which makes the paper stick to your fingers and it will rip in certain spots. You'll see I did that and I'm gonna have to cover it up. Alright, so now it's time to cover up. You see I've got these little holes here. So you're gonna take your oil-based Sharpie paint pens and then you're just gonna kind of color in all the spots where it's, you know, just kind of missing your color. One thing that I did notice with this project is that the paper the ink bled through a little bit. So it's darker in some spots and lighter in others. I think this is really cool because I think it resembles the pixelated style of The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time when the Lon-Lon milk was actually in the game. So I think it looks awesome, but if you're not into this style, then maybe there's something else you can do, like just glue it or something. But I use the Mod Podge to help protect it so it won't rip in the future. So now I'm taking my white and I'm going over all the lettering and the cow and all the white stuff around the edges too. That way it's going to make it pop out a lot better. Make sure that you let the ink dry before you turn it and mess it up somewhere. As you can see, I'm kind of fanning it a little bit in between when I'm moving it. That way it dries a little bit more and it's not going to mess up if I turn it around to paint the other end. While I'm waiting for the letters to dry, I go ahead and do the white border at the top and bottom on that side. That way it's done and over with. painted the other side as well as the cows off camera. It's the same process, just go over the white lines. Just be very careful on the cows because those are like the most important detail. So once that paint's all dry, you're just going to turn it around and look for these little rough edges. These occur when maybe there's a little bit of paper that got Mod Podged down in the wrong spots. So you're going to take that nail polish remover and the cotton swab and just kind of scrub it off. It might take a little bit of elbow grease, but it will get off of there. And if you accidentally take off too much, then you can put a little bit of Mod Podge back, or you could even seal it back up with top coat. Once you've buffed out all of your rough edges, you're done. It looks great and it's an awesome decoration for any gamer's room. Congratulations and thanks for watching this video.